This is Matt Brown, and you're listening to Just a Good Conversation. I've always pulled for the small guy who's willing to take a risk, the creator with a blind passion to make a difference in his field. Just 18 years old, I see some of that in aggravated culture owner and designer Drake Harris.
I still haven't had the realization that people are actually buying your stuff and they like it. So if I've had drops that have completely sold out, and I'm just astounded how people would actually support.
I'm Matt Brown, host of Just a Good Conversation. Take a listen to our archives. My guests have ranged from photographers, cutmen, and small business owner Mike Franzi.
Riders ready, pedals ready, go. And the gate drops. And like when you pedal, you have a visual. And like I used to not like pedal hard when it said go because I was nervous. But for some reason, I got a good gate start by mistake. And I kind of, from the side of my helmet, I can remember like nobody being next to me. And my instincts like pedal, pedal, pedal. And I remember I won. I got my first victory ever.
Go to justagoodconversation.com for all our archives. Let's take a quick break for a sponsor before diving into my conversation with Drake Harris. I am very excited that I have not just a neighbor, an entrepreneur, a small business guy, but someone in the neighborhood who I've watched growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Shall I say Mr. Harris?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
How are you, Drake?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm great, man.
Yes.
Like I told you before we started, season 3, I wanted to kick off with small entrepreneurs and business people. And when I saw you swinging on the hammock the other day in that nice light, I said, I'm having that kid on.
Yes. And like you mentioned, you've seen me growing up, and now we're here. So
yeah, here we are in the
I'm
office.
thrilled, yes.
I want to know how a young kid from Orange County, because it's cliche, because everybody in Orange County, especially in California, is kind of lazy dressed. We don't have 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really need a parka.
Exactly.
We don't need snow boots unless you live in Big Bear. And even then, how many times do you go to Big Bear for snow?
Yeah.
Like, we can get away with shorts, T-shirts, like laziness. How did you find fashion to be an interest for a young kid?
So growing up, I always had an eye for fashion. I would always
Now, when you say that, like you saw what mom and dad wore, or you just were very cognizant of what you wore?
both. I looked at what my dad wore. He kind of developed the fashion I have.
What did
today.
he wear?
So my dad growing up, you have these dads. My dad was younger compared to the other dads at like my school and stuff. He would wear really just shorts, socks to almost his knees.
Okay.
And a skate like a t-shirt pretty much, and a snapback fitted.
Okay.
So he's dressing like he's in high school while all these other dads are dressing in
dressing like dads.
Patagonia.
Yeah,
and
right.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah, they look like dads.
Yeah. So I looked at him for that, and then even
Now,
through
what was that? What did you think that was cool?
I thought it was cool because
He didn't
dressed,
look like a dad?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He dressed how skaters would dress, you know? Like
Okay.
I grew up on skating, dirt biking, all that stuff. He dressed like those 20-year-old dudes.
Now, did dad skate and ride bikes?
He did.
Okay,
yeah.
so there's your influence.
Yes.
Right, his actions, and you kind of like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
I want to be cool like you, Dad.
No, and I always like being different, and he was definitely different from all the other dads. So
Now, were you different from your friends, though? Were they little skaters, too?
they were, but when it came to my style, I would wear some like fluorescent jeans, checkered jeans.
Fluorescent jeans?
Yes.
Where in the hell were you finding those?
Long Beach. Yeah, there's this one place that I had to get those, and any other jean I wouldn't wear. I'm picky when it comes to stuff. It has to be.
Are you pickier as you're getting older?
Oh yeah, I blame my dad for this. I like brand name stuff.
Okay.
And things. So when it came to pants that first developed, that sort of attraction, I had to get those pants from that store in Long Beach because my father and I lived in Long Beach. My parents were divorced.
Right.
So I would go back and forth from Long Beach to Orange County. And I feel like Long Beach is definitely where I would look at people's outfits because they were all different. And
What part of Long Beach? By the beach or more like Lakewood?
It was more So we had an apartment across the street from Blair Field.
Okay.
Where the Dirtbags play.
Yep. Right by Long Beach, Long Beach, Wilson.
Wilson, yes.
Yep.
Right
Okay.
across the street.
Okay.
So around there, but then also my grandparents lived closer to Lakewood.
Okay.
So it would just be back and forth through there. But we were always down at the beach. I would say every day when I was smaller.
Okay.
Whenever my dad didn't have work. So pretty much just around downtown and the beach. Yeah.
All right. Now, when is this starting for you to be aware? 9, 10, 11?
Earlier, I would say like 7 probably.
Wow. Okay.
Around there, yeah. I've always had an eye for just whatever someone's wearing. I would look at your outfit before I'd talk to you. You know, I'd look up and down.
Really? Even as
Yeah.
a little guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you'd eyeball people like, okay, I see the cut of your jib. And I like
Yeah,
your jeans. I
exactly.
like your shoes. I don't know about that sweater, though.
Exactly. Yeah, you could have gone with black with that outfit.
So you're immediately judging people on their fashion style, which is exactly what people do.
Yeah, exactly.
So when do you start putting your pieces together and like saying to mom and dad, like, I really want these neon jeans?
I would say I really started developing my own fashion when I was probably going into 5th to 6th grade.
Okay.
Before that, my parents would kind of help me pick out my outfits because whatever, like, they thought my outfits were too crazy, and looking back at it, they were crazy, but it's what I wanted.
But you're 7, you're 8.
Exactly.
So, okay, who then might have been, and we could throw one of the parents under the bus, the easier one to kind of like, Mom, please, I really want this, or Dad, I really want that. Like, who was easier to push towards your taste?
Definitely my dad, and that's
Okay.
still how it is to this day. Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So was Mom more like, no, we're going to tamp it down a little bit? That's crazy.
It wasn't necessarily that. It was just like, this would look better.
Okay.
And I'd be like, whatever you say, Mom. Yeah, can't argue.
Yeah. Okay, Mom.
Yeah.
If you look back at it, which is crazy to say to a young man,
Yeah.
like, and we're not talking like 40 years, but what was one of the outfits you look back and go, whew, what was I thinking?
Ooh, probably some blue checkered skinny jeans. So blue and black skinny jeans that had like looked like checkerboard, and like a red t-shirt.
So you had little teeny skinny checkers.
Oh yeah, and they were tight. When I say tight, they were
course.
tight. Yeah, because that was when skinny jeans were
Very
in.
skinny, very tight.
Yeah, that's when I had a mohawk too. It was. Those were the days. Those were the days.
God help you. So when did you start thinking this could be something?
7th grade.
Okay.
So before I had aggravated culture, I had a little thing with my friends. There were 7 of us. We called it Savage 7.
Right.
And I've always had an interest in t-shirts and fashion, and I would be watching YouTube, seeing these people making shirts, and I was like, I can make that, you know? So I got...
Was there somebody you followed?
Yeah. I followed different people, but my dad's friend TJ, actually, he made t-shirts
Okay.
and stickers and all that stuff. So beginning with that, I made this little brand probably for a month. I had t-shirts called Savage 7.
Okay.
So I used TJ's resources, and I sold probably $600 worth of t-shirts.
Now, what did you
Seventh
design? Are you drawing something? Are you using at that time a software like Illustrator?
So I like drew up something, but I had TJ kind of make the final
Template on the
yeah.
the t-shirt print. Okay.
Exactly. And I sold those probably $10 a piece, I think.
Okay. Now, did you actually do the printing, or did you watch him and like kind of, oh, that's what I want it black on a white t-shirt? Or,
So the thing with printing is that you kind of have to be somewhat, not I would say strong, but you have to apply a lot of pressure.
yeah.
And back
Even.
then, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have skinny arms, and back then they were even skinnier. So I would try, but
Right.
my dad would ultimately be the one. TJ and my dad would be the ones printing it, and I'd be the little marketing dude out in LV, just like, hey, you want to buy my t-shirt? So yeah.
So, I mean, I used to love print shop. I used to love making those t-shirts. I thought that was like the absolute best thing. Do they still have that like at Fullerton?
No, they don't. They don't offer that. But luckily we
Is
have
anybody in the district?
no. Luckily we have YouTube though. That's literally where. I
Right. But if
learned
you're a kid and
everything.
you don't have a t-shirt maker or a
No.
press or the
Yeah.
spin where you could do like 5 different colors, 6 different colors. I mean, that kills.
They don't offer any guidance for that, which I do want to change. Hopefully when I'm older. say I do kind of pop off and become something, I take pride in where I'm from, so I would want to come back and kind of develop classes for my local high school or something.
Right.
And teach kids how to do that.
Right, or even have a warehouse or some place where people can come and it can be taught. And
Exactly. And also, I mean, like, when it comes to nowadays, I would say, like, mental health for something, like, printing T-shirts really, like, you put your mind to something and you could make this T-shirt and you know how to print it, and that could just help you not get into some sort of violence or like not go towards the wrong group, or even just help like with your mental health, like make you happier, you know?
Sure.
So it definitely helps. It definitely helps me. That's how I express myself through my T-shirts.
Do you feel kind of like, I don't know, sound zen-y, but very like in a zen kind of like comfortable place when you're working on your T-shirts?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's like
Little Drake's place, just kind of comfortable.
Exactly. And I'm saying like without T-shirts, I'm not happy, but like that makes me happy, you know, like that's some genuine, like happiness.
Well, and you're making something.
Exactly. And I'm not like, I am making money, but I could care less about that. I just want to see kids wear my stuff, and even adults, anyone wear my stuff, and just feel like they're a part of something, like a movement type of thing. So
bit of appreciation for what you're putting together and making.
Yeah.
I mean, there goes a long way, you know, I'm taking pictures and you do want people to see your work. And if you make those time and you're sitting there making 40 T-shirts and you think you got this great design, you do want people to enjoy it and appreciate it. And it is something very nice in that work process to create that. Oh, I love that feeling.
Yeah.
When you were then thinking, okay, I got the little crew of 7, we're doing our thing, when does that start to expand to where you're at with AC?
So that just kind of opened the doors to how printing works. Not necessarily on the business side, but just printing. So now I know what it takes to print, how to print.
Were you surprised how interesting it was when you were little?
Yeah, I was surprised how...
Because you're just wearing a T-shirt and you just think, oh, that's how this logo gets here?
No, yeah.
Now you're like, whoa, that's a process.
It's a whole process, yeah, especially when it comes to different color prints. Right? It's so intricate. You have to have one screen per color, and it takes time. And
you got to match up. You don't want to screw up.
Exactly.
You got to know what colors goes over what.
Exactly. Yeah. So it definitely brought appreciation and just realization of the hard work that any T-shirt takes to develop. And that's why, looking back now, like any T-shirt, I look at it as a piece of art, because it really is. When it comes to just the process making it, it's crazy.
Even really before, just the actual design.
Exactly.
Coming up with it, the idea. Do you enjoy that part of the aspect of coming up with the actual design?
Oh, I love that part, because so there's other people that have like graphic designers do their stuff. I taught myself how to use Adobe Illustrator.
Oh, that's a big program.
I still probably only know 5% of everything it does.
That's a big, deep program.
Yeah,
it's a monster, but it's unbelievably powerful.
Every day I learn something new with Adobe Illustrator. It's crazy. And yeah, so I do my own graphics. Right now I do. Hopefully I want to venture out into crazy stuff and have graphic designers do it. I do my own graphics. I've done it since the beginning of Aggravated Culture. That's where I kind of pick my own brain and see what I want to do. I'll like write stuff in my notes. I see something and I'll write down a design idea. I go home later that night and I grab my laptop and design something.
Wow, that's great. Do you just carry like maybe a notepad and pen, and if you see something pops into your head, you kind of sketch it?
Yeah, so luckily with iPhones, they have notes.
Right.
So I just write it down, and I have like a really good photographic memory. So if I think of something, then I'll still remember it later that night.
You can recall it.
And if I don't, then I still have what I wanted in my notes, and kind of just go off of that.
Right.
So
but if you ever like maybe see a scene or something, do you do any writing or sketching, or is it purely like note taking where it's like sunset, girl, palm tree, blue sky, whatever, and you try to put the pieces of the puzzle together?
Yeah, purely note taking, or I take a photo.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the power of the smartphone.
Yeah, exactly.
All the things are right there. So where do you then decide, okay, next step? I know I'm only in junior high, but I think I could do something here.
So I came up with the idea of aggravated culture in 8th grade,
Okay.
and I didn't pursue it till sophomore year. So
A whole 2 years in your life.
yeah, exactly. Which that was like 20% of my life at that time. Yeah. So I just think I had time to develop the idea.
Okay.
And
Was there influence at Fullerton High School when you were there?
yeah, because say you go from LV has like 1,000 students, you go to Fullerton has 3,000 students now, and people dress differently. They come from different backgrounds, so just kind of studying what people wore.
And you got older kids too.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between what you were when you were 14 and now 17.
You have 14 to 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
So
body shapes, tall,
Yeah.
skinny, fat. I mean, you got all the shapes. That changes your fashion.
Yeah. So when it comes to outfits, I really like study them. So that's what I did. Look around, see what people were wearing, see what different brands people were wearing, and then I'd look up that brand, see what they do. And that's what I do nowadays. I look on Instagram. Instagram is probably the best place to get inspiration from especially these other brands. Because I look at that brand and I study just what they do, what garments they use. I try to figure out what garments they use. That's not to go off on a different note, but I feel like that's my one specialty is that I could majority of the time figure out what garment you're wearing or what garment the t-shirt's printed on or hoodie is printed on, because I just look that much into detail when it comes to
You need to.
yeah. So
I mean, it's amazing to think, because you said, Instagram, there's probably thousands of little Drakes all across the country,
yeah.
Wisconsin, Florida, South Dakota, that are trying to do similar things of what you're doing, like start up a little fashion that affects a kid in South Dakota or Florida. What do you feel it's going to take for you at this point to go next level, like in 2 or 3 years?
So right now, rather than focusing on the garments themselves, I am focusing on marketing this year.
Okay.
Marketing's a huge thing, especially with everyone having access to Instagram and any social media platform.
Right.
Marketing, I feel like, is probably the most serious aspect when it comes to business-wise, because there are kids everywhere making these different brands, and it's such a challenge trying to get your brand out there and be different from all these other brands. So marketing is really where I'm trying to zone on this year, and just try to be completely different from anyone else. And
Now, when you say marketing, are you saying like post some of your creations, more photos, or just kind of pop-ups and blitz? Like where's your marketing idea going?
So I have an idea for an art gallery type thing on screen printing and just my designs. I don't see if somebody is listening, they might steal the idea because it's so good in my opinion.
Okay.
But I just love designing, so I have designs for like tables and furniture and stuff, and just different t-shirts and all that stuff. So I want to do an art gallery where I have all of my pieces that I've made, all my designs that I've made. I've printed them on maybe, what would you call where they paint art? Canvas.
A canvas.
Yes.
Okay.
And just t-shirts, and I have a table design, put that table design in there.
Okay.
And it just revolves around not only my brand, but just the art of design. And I don't see any of these other brands kind of zoning in and focusing on anything else but t-shirts and just clothing aspect.
Right.
So that's what I want to do. And also pop-ups are a great way for my marketing, because I like to get the community together and kind of show kids that even you could do this stuff.
Right.
So more pop-ups, and yeah, even photos too, and just crazy.
Right. Just get it out there.
Yeah,
Make that noise.
Yeah. So
When you start AC and you start screen printing, where do you go if there's not anything at LV or at Fullerton to get your screen printing? Where did you start to do that?
So My dad helped me out in the very beginning.
Okay.
If my dad wasn't there, helped me out, there wouldn't be AC, which I thank him for that. So
well, that and if he dressed it like a regular dad, he wouldn't have influenced you.
Exactly, that's all it is.
Thank God for dad.
Yeah, if I did not have Nick Harris as my dad, I would not have AC. Yes. So me and him kind of picked each other's brains. We would do our research into where we get screens and where we get ink and stuff. And luckily, there's a huge ink place in Fullerton.
Really?
They have screens too. They have every, it's called Screen Printers Resource. If any of you guys want to go check it out, you want to do any screen printing, Screen Printers Resource.
Are you kidding? In your town?
Exactly. Yeah, right off the 91.
Thank God you didn't live in Barstow.
I always think that. I always think something like that. Thank God I don't live anywhere else in this world.
Right.
Because even we're 45 minutes away from LA. That's the central hub of fashion, one of them,
right.
in the whole entire world. So that's also an influence, just going to LA.
Yeah, but you could ride your bike and get some more screens.
Exactly. It helps so much. Don't have to pay for shipping.
Right.
Yeah.
Just ride right over.
Yeah.
Beg mom, come on, please.
Yeah, exactly.
So then did you guys buy a screen machine?
Yeah. So we bought a screen machine from like San Bernardino somewhere.
Okay. Was it a what do they call it? Like a 4 press?
Yeah. Yeah. It has 4 different screens that you could put. But you could only put 2. You could only print 2 T-shirts at a time.
Right. Yeah.
And so the one that TJ had for Savage 7, you could do like 6 different colors, print 4 different T-shirts at a time. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
He was in. That's a commitment.
Yeah, exactly.
That takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, it took up a whole room in our house.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you and Dad go in on this. So I'm guessing that's all your allowance. Birthday money. If you needed a bar mitzvah and could get one, you try whatever you can get in. Exactly. So you guys make this purchase. When do you say, okay, let's say it costs $1,000?
Yeah, that's roughly what it costs to start off.
That was a guess.
Yeah.
You got to make that back, right? Because now it's not just like a hobby. You're purchasing a very expensive tool.
Yeah.
Do you and your dad, or does the dad sit you down and say, okay, now do you understand, like, this isn't a toy? It's a part of this, machine that we're going to make money with.
Yeah. Yeah. He did sit me down. When we first got it, I came up with ideas, but I really didn't think they were good enough. And so I kind of had my equipment sitting there for like a month or 2. And that's when he sat me down and is like, I got you the stuff for a reason. So he gave me a loan of $1,000. I've paid it back already.
Okay.
So he sat me down and like, I put this money out for you. Like, are you going to do it or not? And that really sparked me. And
were you scared or nervous?
I was a little bit scared because, like I said, I didn't know if my ideas were good enough. So like it could have just gone completely to the dumps and AC wouldn't be anything. But at that moment something sparked and I was like, all right, I have to get this done. I have so many ideas that I put out there.
What are you, 14, 15 at the time?
15.
Okay.
Yeah. So
a wise 15.
A wise 15-year-old. Yes.
I mean, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're sitting around and you're making a couple T-shirts at the Boys and Girls Club, but now if you've got an investment like this and you're making T-shirts that you hopefully want people to purchase, that's a commitment.
Yes.
Between the machine, the cost, the screen, the ink, the T-shirts or sweatshirts or anything else you're printing on, it becomes real all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, because you have it right there. You could do anything with it. You just have to find some commitment to it and get it done,
Okay, what was the first one you printed?
So the first thing I printed, it was an oval, and it was like split in half. The top part was black, and the bottom part was white.
Okay.
The top part said aggravated culture in white, so it contrasted, and then said aggravated up top in white, and then the bottom said culture in black.
Okay.
And then I had just a spell out, just said aggravated culture very thin across the chest. And then I had this other one that just said AC going down like 6 times. Right. Looking back at it, horrible design. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I just wanted
I'm sure Tom Ford says the same thing about his early work, but that's just the way it is. Exactly. You're early.
Yeah. So that's
where battle scars and and gray hair and age comes into understanding, like, long term, how much better you get the more you're doing something.
Yeah. And I'm probably going to look back a year from now and be like, what designs
That
I
was
doing?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that.
Exactly.
And in 10, you're going to look back in 5. It's just, but that's okay. You're supposed to learn from that.
Yeah.
Walk me through that feeling the first time you saw, because it's one thing if it pop up, you sell something. Oh, they bought it. Oh, that's great. $10 off goes my t-shirt. But the first time you see somebody on the streets wearing it, what was that emotion?
Oh man, just excitement, pure excitement. Just knowing that my hard work paid off pretty much. Just that time that I took to print that t-shirt, like I did it by hand. I came up with the design and someone's wearing it out and about. Pretty sick.
Who was it?
A random kid.
Just a random little.
I was driving down Harbor,
Okay.
and there's like this little skate group of like 13-year-olds, and I just see a kid wearing one of my t-shirts, and I'm like, whoa, like who is that kid, you know? Like, and how did you get that t-shirt? Because I could see like who orders my stuff through my website, but I don't know half of these people, you know?
Right.
Which is great.
Plus, like your mom could order something, but that doesn't mean mom's wearing it.
Exactly.
Right. So you just see a name and that doesn't mean anything, but seeing that kid.
And I would say this, so I was riding my bike just around Fullerton. It was the middle of the pandemic and stuff. And I made these shoes. They're called the Wounded Ones. They look like an Air Force One, but they have my design and just my intake on that. And I saw these little skaters at McDonald's, and I was like, yo, like, what's your best trick? Talking to them. And one of them looks down, they're like, yo, you have the Aggravated Culture shoes. Like, how'd you get those? And I was like, because I didn't release them at the time yet.
Okay. So they're still hidden in the pocket and you're out riding about.
Yeah. So I think I only posted them once on Instagram, you know? And I was like, oh, you know what these are? He's like, yeah, those are the Wounded Ones. And I'm like, oh, these are like, I own the company. Like, I made these shoes, and they were.
So you told them who you were.
Yeah.
Instead of playing kind of not, playing dumb, like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Do you like them? And all of a sudden,
Because in the moment, I wish I did kind
Yeah.
of. But in the moment, I was like, no way, he knows what these are.
because you could have gotten some real review.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? You like the color?
Yeah. Looking back at it, I always think that like, oh, I should have played on with that. But
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
should never be Drake Harris. You should just be the
yeah,
guy, just a guy.
exactly. Oh, I'm his top buyer. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about this? Tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think they're kind of trash. What do you think?
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, until your face becomes recognizable around the world, that's the best reviews you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
Is a man on the street.
Yeah.
Because people in your company are going to tell you one thing, but the guy who buys it or doesn't buy it is going to be right honest.
Yeah. No, and
That's trash.
that's what I learned from that is that like I just gotta kind of not be like, oh yeah, I created that.
Right.
Just get intake from people, and I've done that too. And I've had a few people be like, oh, I love that brand. And a few people be like their designs are trash. What are they doing?
Right.
And
And that's fine.
that doesn't hurt me because then that kind of builds like, oh, okay, like I'll make something that you'll wear then,
Right. And do you really want 100% of everybody to like your stuff? Because then that kind of means like you're making vanilla.
Exactly.
Like not everybody likes vanilla. At some point you need to be able to make Rocky Road or mint chocolate chip. And you really only do that through failure.
Yeah.
Because I was telling my friend this the other day, there's no way Rocky Road was made on purpose. It was an accident. It was somebody trying something and they failed, but through that failure, they made Rocky Road.
Because realistically, Rocky Road is trash.
Right. But it worked for somebody. That's all they want. So through failure, you're going to succeed and make stuff. And it's nothing worse than when someone's just making vanilla
Yeah.
over and over. So you got to push out the boundaries. And somebody is going to like it and somebody's not.
Yep. That's a great analogy. I didn't think about anything that way.
Yeah. I mean, you have to fail to succeed. If you keep making things simple, you're not pushing any boundaries.
Exactly.
You don't want everybody to like your stuff.
Yeah.
And then the guy who doesn't, you want to talk to him.
Yeah.
You don't
Be
want,
like,
yeah, tell me why.
exactly.
Yeah, because the other 99 are, just following along. It's like your mother. Whatever you make, your mother's going to tell you you're the best. I love your drawings, your cookies, whatever. It's like, you're my mother. You're supposed to like my stuff.
No, and that's why I thank my girlfriend Paige, because she really gives me my criticism.
She's brutal.
Oh, she's brutal. She's dead honest. That's the best part. I'll make something and I'll be like, do you see people wearing this? She's like, oh, dear God, no.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Paige for being honest.
Shout out to Paige.
Yeah, there you go. So where do you then think, okay, you're making some money, you're having fun, you're putting this thing together, you're doing little pop-ups. Where is there like your time management for, right? You're still a kid. Mm-hmm. You got school, you got family, you're trying to manage a little business. Are you trying to give like 2-3 hours a day to create, homework, sleep, eat, Paige? Like,
yeah.
Where are you putting your time management in as a young entrepreneur?
That's the tough part. Especially I play baseball, so
there you go. That
of my
too.
time is dedicated to that. But while I play center field, so while I'm out there in center, just nothing's hit to me. I'm thinking of stuff I could do for AC. So
that's bad for the scouting report. If they're like, if he's wandering off, hit it to him.
Yeah. No, exactly.
He's daydreaming.
Exactly. But all honesty, I might be the best center fielder in league right now. No, just kidding. Yeah. So I'm always thinking about what I could do, even when I'm with Paige. Sorry, Paige.
But no, that's how creatives work.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Say I get sleep. Say I get 7 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep. Just whenever I'm awake, I'm thinking of AC. I feel like that's what I feel like. When it comes to like me at school, I'll just be sitting there looking at someone's t-shirt and be like, whoa, that would be somewhat of a cool design for AC. I could kind of make something like that,
Right.
Or there's a math problem and I'm like, like how could these numbers go together to make a design, or just anything like that. That's just how I think, is like I look at something and I'm like, I wonder what I could make out of that or do with that,
Do you look like this is wool? Do you ever look at material and be like, oh, I would like to work with that material, more leather, more, whatever? I mean, is that something that crosses your mind?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Just yesterday, Paige and I were out and about shopping for our friend's birthday, and I always look at the jackets or anything that a store has, and I feel like Paige is probably embarrassed because I go and touch everything, every garment that there is in there. And I do the guessing game where I wonder what material or garment they used for this.
What's the blend?
I
mean, do you get to the point where you're looking at like stitching?
Yeah. I'm at that point right now where I'm looking at, there's a quilted jacket, and I'm like, I want to do a quilted jacket with quilted AC designs everywhere. Even this right here, I could make this into a jacket and have this inner side right here be nice and cozy on the inner side, and then have this design or even this fabric, put that into maybe a jacket or some sort of garment.
Do you find your mind, I mean, I'm guessing I know the answer to this, but do you find your mind wandering if you're watching a TV show or a movie to like what people are wearing or how they're wearing the clothes at the time, whether it's like we're watching the show Yellowstone. It's in Montana. It's cold weather.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it going, oh, they're all wearing hats, but they're not really wearing hats for fashion. They're wearing hats for warmth.
Yeah.
They're wearing that scarf. Do you find yourself constantly just like a hummingbird just jumping around in your head?
Oh yeah. Like with Yellowstone, they wear a Carhartt type jacket, nice thick quilted jackets, just all that type of stuff, and it's because it's cold,
right,
and all that. So I look at that. I think to myself, like, how thick do you think that jacket is?
Right,
because it's 5 degrees over there or something like that.
And you and I are, t-shirts inside a house where it's 68 and it's wonderful.
And that's why I follow a bunch. I feel like my whole Instagram feed is fashion related. And that's why I look at other brands and people from, say, New York, for example, and look at what people are wearing over there and see if I could make something that people would wear over there,
Right, because their fashion really revolves around a lot of times about the weather.
Yeah, because I have buyers from all over the world. I was tripping out when I had a buyer from London. And I don't know how they found me, probably through Instagram.
Through Instagram, right?
It was pretty crazy.
Is that your main portal, Instagram? Because you're probably not on Facebook, right?
Yeah, 100% Instagram.
Twitter? YouTube
not
channel?
really. I have a YouTube, but I don't really focus on it. This year, I want to focus on TikTok.
Okay.
TikTok is probably where you could
or Reels on Instagram, one or the other. Yeah.
So, but Instagram right now is 100% or 95% of where I'm marketing. Snapchat.
You know what's funny? It's so crazy. Like when you did Malcolm's podcast, in, what was that? August.
Yeah.
There wasn't TikTok yet. Or if it
was,
like,
but it wasn't crazy.
Right. It was like in its infancy.
Yeah. Like now people were making just funny videos on it and stuff, but now people are using it for marketing.
Right.
So
like, what will it be in 5 years when you're like, oh, I'm not even on Instagram anymore. I'm on Welch or whatever.
No, and I think
that app.
I think Instagram is probably the next social media platform to die out.
Right. They revolve. They will never have a lifespan of 20 years.
Yeah.
Kids, there's 10-year-old Drakes right now that are like, Instagram, that's for old people.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't even know Facebook's a thing.
Meta
dead.
Now, yeah. So if someone came and tapped you on the shoulder today and said, okay, what company would you like to go work for? Like taking you away from AC, but putting you into a place where you can see a whole nother level, whether it was like Levi's or Ralph Lauren or Fessel or Duluth, like, would there be one you're like, I'd go there?
So right now I'm actually working for one of the companies that I looked up to, Pythia. Shouts out Jack. He runs Pythia. And I just DM'd him through Instagram because I couldn't find his email. I want to be professional in email, but I couldn't find it. So I direct messaged him like, hey, I'm Drake, 17. Live 30 minutes out of LA. I'm looking just to kind of help out or intern. And he responded. It was like, yeah, come down and we could talk through and stuff. And
are they at LA?
Yeah, they're out of LA.
Garment district or just outside the boundaries?
So his brand is like mine. It revolves around just the website.
Okay.
So he's really doing everything like me from my house and from his house. But he has manufacturers doing stuff because he's grown a lot and he's popping right now, especially in the underground streetwear hub. So now
you say underground. When I think of that, I'm thinking like 70s punk rock and nobody knew about it. But like the underground now is so exposed because of social media.
Yeah.
It's hard to be underground or I have a brand and nobody knows about it. And I want it to be like, because we only wear Doc Martens because we're rebel punk rockers.
Yeah.
But now you're like, everybody's wearing Doc Martens. That's not rebellish anymore, underground. Yeah. So is that hard to quote unquote be underground?
Yeah, because I feel like 95% of all of streetwear that I follow is underground. Now, when I say underground, Pythia, for example, has around 50,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay.
And we have a good amount of buyers, a lot. But when it comes to non-underground, I would say like Supreme, North Face, just
right.
Yeah, brands and.
All right, well, let's throw rocks, right? When we think of North Face, I think that's a very established company. When I think of Supreme, I think of it like some guy absolutely got lightning struck out of his ass lucky.
Yeah.
I still look at that brand and go like, really? Who is the idiot buying the $75 sticker?
Yeah.
Like, or the T-shirt or the bag? Like, the stuff's not like bulletproof. I'm going to wear if I go out to, the Alaska frontier. That kind of thing, do you think, and I know you're only a kid, but do you think that's got legs? Because you have influence of being the target audience they're looking for. They're not looking at the 50-year-old dad like me.
Yeah.
So do you think like Supreme has legs for 5 years?
Or
is it?
So when it comes to the hype factor, because they're all built around hype.
Right. It beats headphones to me.
Yeah. They were probably at their peak around 2016.
Okay.
They're dying down, but they're always going to have buyers, especially they were developed in 1994. And all of those, I would say, all those skaters that skated for them are probably around late 40s to early 50s now. They're still wearing Supreme and stuff and just that whole thing. But then also you have 13-year-olds to 20-something-year-olds wearing Supreme as well. So I think it won't be a while till they officially die down a lot, but they are kind of losing the hype factor behind them. But they could revamp kind of, and just come back. Like Stussy, for example.
Right.
They were popping in the 90s and all that stuff, and
Late
they died
80s,
down.
Early 90s,
They died down sort of during like the early 2000s, and now Stussy is up there now.
Do you do your like history and say like, okay, how does a company like that lose its juice and go from like being the king of the hill to like falling off?
Yeah.
And do you do your research and kind of like, okay, that's a pitfall I don't want to be near?
Yeah. I probably study streetwear more than I studied anything in school.
Okay.
Because it's just interesting from a business standpoint and also a fashion standpoint.
Right.
Say Stussy was dying down. There was this group of influencers who have a heavy influence on how people dress and all that stuff. They send them T-shirts. They wear that. Now Stussy is the number one brand, They're back again. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like literally from the grave.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So it's crazy how they've died down and then come back full force.
Do you want to be labeled as like a skater brand, or do you want to be a brand? Because and I don't mean disrespect, but what skater brand is like, it could be very simple. T-shirts, big pants, tearing up your shoes. Like, right, that's something that's not, it seems like not a lot of skill goes into it. Skaters aren't really wearing 3-piece suits. So where are you falling into that?
I'm still trying to find out what I want to be within the brand. It kind of feels weird to say, but from the initial start, I wanted to be strictly a skating brand, but now I look at it and want to be like a lifestyle type brand that anyone could wear.
Okay.
Any garment, but I do like the kind of skating vibe because that's what I grew up on when it comes to my.
So there's roots there. There's a knowledge like, oh, you're comfortable. I get it. I understand these kids and why they wear it.
Yeah.
But then your audience is limited. 12-year-olds don't have a budget.
Yeah.
So at some point, do you look at, obviously women spend way more money than men on the majority. Like, do you start to look at and go like, I would like to see what I can put together and make for women?
Yeah. And
outside of skating attire, right? Like you don't want to dress Paige up in skater attire all the time. You'd like to see her in a beautiful dress. Like, does that spark in your head?
Yeah. So for 2022, I want to come out with like women,
a woman's line or women's apparel.
Yeah, apparel. And when it comes to just my creative thinking and stuff, I do want to get into designing suits, dresses, anything that I could design and get my hands on.
Does that seem cool to you? Like,
seems very cool because the way I look at it is, you have a shirt that's pretty cool, but if you really design, say like that jacket, for example, it's very nice, well built. I look at it as like an art. And when it comes to just overall high-end fashion, there's these different pieces with so many factors going into it and such a wide story around it that it just really is pretty cool to me.
Like where I work now at Incipio, when I first got there, we had Tavik. It was a men and a women's clothing line. And sitting in the cafeteria, the most interesting people I found were the cutters for the clothes. Those women they were so interesting. They could talk about, they would look at things and be like, honey, this is why we do this and do that. And we look at a woman's body and we cut and shape and curve to everything. And it's like, and from a photographer and someone with a visual, the way I look at things, it was really nice to hear how they go about creating these pieces.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, I could sit here all day and just like listen to you guys explain to me why you do certain things. When you're creating your pieces, I know right now you're doing T-shirts, but when you look at stuff, do you look at and go, I would like to make my T-shirt more like this, like maybe a shorter sleeve or a longer length or a V-neck? Like, is that where you're seeing yourself push towards?
Yeah. So right now I'm looking into getting my own T-shirts made because right now I use All Style blanks. They're made in the U.S., which is a plus. And
is that something you want to try to do, is keep things U.S. made?
Yeah, right now it's hard because
it's gonna always be hard.
crazy expensive and just my resources. So I get a majority. If it isn't a t-shirt or a hoodie, I get it made overseas in China.
Okay.
So I'm looking at getting my own kind of cut of a t-shirt because I like t-shirts that fit more boxy and kind of I would say sleeves are like a little bit longer and stuff. Just different to my taste because I'm a skinny dude. I like wearing baggy stuff.
Right.
So something around that I feel comfortable wearing, and other people hopefully would feel comfortable wearing. And even when it comes to right now, say I'm printing the design placement different from a small t-shirt to an XL t-shirt, I'm putting it different places, higher or lower to the collar because of how it would fit on someone, So I'm always looking to kind of work around and do things that would fit people better and make me happier with how it fits and all that stuff.
Right. Let's take like the 3 women in your life, right? We'll take mom, Paige, your sister.
Yeah.
Let's say you get to play for a week and play like Mad Hatter and you get to dress them.
Yeah.
Whether mom wants to wear that color, how would you look at mom and say, okay, I would like to see you in this because you're mom. And then Paige, you're going to look like this. And then like your little sister, like what would you put them in if you got to play like king for a day?
Ooh, that's tough. I would put, and that just goes around how they're built into
right.
all that stuff.
There's age,
so many factors.
Built,
yeah.
Obviously what your mom wears and your sister wears is going to be 2 different looks. But like, do you have that head spinning all the time? Like, oh, I'd want to see mom in this and I want to see my sister in that. And, because women are like the ultimate to dress.
Yeah.
To me, they're the ultimate to photograph. If I can get a woman to be happy with her photo, I've done it. Because guys are very easy to photograph.
Yeah.
They can buy their clothes at a truck stop and they don't really care about their DMV photo. Women, totally different.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way Paige is getting her outfits from a truck stop.
No,
right?
exactly. And some of the time she's like, what should I wear today? I kind of pick it out.
So let's say your sister, how are you going to dress your little sister?
Ooh, Paige dresses really nicely, especially with how the trends are today and all that stuff. So honestly, I would dress her how Paige dresses, just not as a stomach showing,
Okay, right. And see, there's a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So I would say I would put my sister in not a crop top, but a short crop t-shirt, short sleeves.
Okay.
And maybe some pants that are a little bit baggy, maybe like a few rips in them.
Okay.
And then some Air Force Ones, just something to get kind of not too much going on with the outfit, but just it looks very nice, developed, and yeah.
Okay. Mom's going to go out on a dinner date with dad on a Friday night. What do you dress mom up in?
Ooh. Matters the restaurant. Let's say
she's going to go to Mulberry's.
Mulberry, okay.
Right down the street. They're even going to walk.
Okay, they're walking.
They're going to walk.
All right. If it's during this time, I'm putting her in a leather jacket.
Okay. What color?
Black.
Okay.
Black. Can't go wrong with black. Maybe I'm trying to think of t-shirt wise or just an undergarment t-shirt type thing. Maybe black as well.
Okay.
I would say pants wise, I want to say I would put her in an all black outfit.
Okay.
Maybe her shoes are different. Maybe she has white shoes, cheetah print shoes. It could go, anything could go with black.
Right.
And when it comes to pants, that's tough. I'm always stuck when it comes to pants. I would say maybe some sort of, I don't know when it comes to pants.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have to really.
Well, we're going to have to dig this out and figure out what we're getting.
I would say maybe not really cargo type pants, but pants that are, I would say, baggier towards the top, slimmer towards the bottom.
Okay. Tapered down.
Tapered. And maybe, like has side pockets as like a type, kind of like a cargo pant,
Yeah.
So, but that leather jacket would bring the whole outfit together.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe mom hears this and can't wait to go out on a Friday night.
Yeah,
Get
Mom,
dressed.
I'll help you out. I'll be your fashionista and give you some more wardrobe.
I mean, that's the thing is dressing women is so much different than dressing
so
men.
hard.
Right.
And that's when it comes to like Paige asks what she should wear. I give her something that she should wear, and she's like, I don't know if it'll go with this. And I'm like, oh man, just
And it's a confidence level and like, oh, I don't think I'm going to look good in this, or that's not my color. I don't do prints, or I don't want to do solids.
yeah. And the good thing about Paige is that she really does not care what anyone thinks. So that's completely different from me. I look at my outfit. I have to get something done that like I do care what people think when it comes to my outfit.
Right.
And I applaud her for that. But she still likes to dress very nicely in what she feels comfortable in.
Sure.
So yeah.
I find it absolutely just in a history level. Like, so you took like Calvin Klein, they revolutionized the way men wear underwear, right? They had the Marky Mark ad campaign. They got these white underwear. They put it on the billboards of everywhere in Manhattan, and everything changes
Yeah.
from simple white underwear and boxers. Then you take companies like MeUndies, ReUndies, and then like Stance, how they changed the way people look at socks. Like socks used to be 10 years ago, socks.
Yeah.
Now they're colorful, they're tight, they're this, they're that.
They have like at Angel Stadium, they have literally a picture of Angel Stadium on socks. You
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
And you can get players and this and that, all
Yeah.
kinds of things. That's where I think it's very interesting in fashion that you can find a company that takes something we absolutely take for granted, like your underwear, which 99% of the time is not seen,
Yeah.
and make it something important that you don't see.
Yeah.
Same with a kind of a sock. It's very rare you see the sock, and now it's important. That's where fashion can really be a curveball to like everyday life. Is that something you kind of like inspire to be, something where you're changing the way people are perceiving fashion?
Oh, most definitely. I always look at something, say like if I want to get a pencil made with a design on it, I always look at something that could be used every day, but put my intake on that. And I look at just that. I could make possibly a carpet or rug or something, do some sort of design I want, or even glasses or anything, even underwear, you know? I feel like I always want to put my input, what I think would look crazy cool on anything.
Do you not
yeah.
want to be stuck with just making clothes, but would you like to design, you know, hotels or something with wooden furniture?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
What material would you want to touch first, or it inspires you, gets you interested?
Wood.
Does it?
Because that's what the root of mankind is built upon, is wood. And
Would you want to do furniture?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I would want to do chairs, tables, especially tables. Just anything. And
Have you done anything yet?
No, I don't. No, I have not, and I want to get into maybe like carpeting, and kind of working with wood and
Right.
putting my input.
I'm
into
guessing there's
something.
no wood shop at Fullerton.
No.
Damn, see?
Auto body shop, they have
Right.
that, but that's
I
all.
loved
Exactly.
wood shop.
Exactly.
I loved making that stuff.
No, and I would see like that in the movies, and then I come to high school and I'm like, all right, where's this stuff? You know,
Yeah, they don't have
got my
it.
hopes up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing better for me in the day when I get to make something in the garage with wood and cut and shape and glue and press it. Yeah, that's the best stuff. And that's where
Yeah.
you're really getting creative.
Yeah.
What has been your COVID challenges over the last couple of years, being in a small business and trying to start something up and deal with the craziness?
Prices, the prices of goods,
Like
and
a
also-
yo-yo up
yeah,
and down?
Yeah, and also the time it takes to import something overseas to here. So I ordered these water bottles, and now because of this incident, I make sure everything is air shipped. But it was when the port was at a standstill, and there was 50 ships out there. I ordered water bottles, and they didn't come till like 5 months after I ordered them. I completely forgot I ordered them. You know, so that was just a halt in my production.
So when you're doing a water bottle, is that just getting a blank bottle so you can put a screen on it?
So I got the complete design and everything printed on overseas in China.
Okay.
So by the time they got to me, I just had to package them and ship them out.
Right.
Yeah.
5 months later.
Yeah. So I completely forgot I ordered them.
That's brutal. That's
Yeah.
absolutely brutal.
Yeah. I ordered them, I would say maybe March, something like that. And I didn't get them till August.
You ordered something in the spring and it's a Christmas present.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
So that was the hard part. And now I make sure everything's air shipped now. And
Well, that's an expense though.
that's the problem, is that stuff is more expensive. Not only are my t-shirt prices and hoodie prices of the blanks that I use have gone up like a few dollars, but also to import something, the shipping has gone up $100, you know?
Okay, so there's the business side, right? There's your yin and yang of your brain, your creative and your business side. So when you're thinking, okay, I want to do, and ship something over, what's the expense? Where I was going to charge maybe $18 for the water bottle because I'm air freighting it now. Do I have to charge $25? And now have I outpriced myself?
Yeah, and that's what I always think about, is that shipping is probably half of the cost for the item now.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
Yeah, so say I get $100 worth of glasses made. Mm-hmm. It costs me another 100, maybe 120 to ship them over here. So I'm basing my prices off of not how much it was to make the item, but how much it was to make and ship now.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to sell them at a loss.
Yeah.
So how much wiser, let's just take 12 months. How much wiser are you business-wise than you were 12 months ago? Are you looking at those numbers a lot?
Yeah, when it comes to just knowing kind of what's going on within economic wise, like the government, what they're doing and stuff, and also just worldwide what's happening. Say a ship like a few months ago was blocking a channel that a bunch of other ships go through. I look at that now and I realize that, all right, the prices of my goods that I'm going to order are going to be out of the roof, like crazy expensive. So now I just look at things in just a completely different view.
There's no 17-year-old at Fullerton High School that is having these same thoughts that you were having about like there's a ship blocking my package.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're just trying to go to Winter Formal and you're just trying to get stuff coming shipped to you.
They're trying to find out where they want to eat, and I'm thinking like, all right, if I order these garments, will they get here in time? What will the cost of them be? What profit will I be making off of that?
Yeah, I mean, are you breaking that down?
Who will buy it?
Are you per unit? Are you looking down to that and saying,
yeah.
okay, it's not worth it. That sweatshirt is just not going to be worth it.
Yeah, I study everything.
I'll make $1 and it's not worth it after all the hours and labor.
Yeah, and I second guess myself a lot, but it comes into play, especially when I'm making stuff overseas and getting all that stuff, and it helps out that I second guess myself when it comes to that.
Who's helping you handle the business side?
My dad helps a lot. Just this past, I would say a month and a half ago, I've officially registered as a business.
Okay.
I have an LLC.
All right.
So yeah, now
Did you register for the city permit in Fullerton with me the last couple of months, or what are your?
I haven't. That's the thing that I still have to do. And I want to possibly get trademarked.
Okay. Yes.
As well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're going to become legit, you got to protect your ass.
Yeah. So I got the LLC for that. So now I have to start paying taxes for the company.
Right.
Because I'm 18 now. I just turned 18 a few weeks ago. So I don't want to be 19 in jail for tax evasion. You know? So
no, it becomes real.
Yeah. So you have to look at that standpoint of it. And people don't understand that is that I'm putting the prices of my items not only because it cost me to make that and I'm trying to make a profit, but also I'm paying $800 for this LLC license. So many factors going.
Yeah, you have so many expenses before you sell anything.
Yeah. And the thing is, you don't know if it's going to sell or not. So that's the hard part.
Have you had some things you've made that have just fallen flat and you were stunned?
Oh, yeah. So I made these hoodies. So at the beginning of ACI, I want to try to be provocative and stuff, and
Okay.
that I wish I did that differently, because I had these one hoodies and this one hoodie design, and it said Aggravated Culture Gentlemen's Club.
Okay. Right.
And the A was a girl bent over.
Right. Okay.
And like, yeah. And
Didn't do well.
I didn't get any sales until a month after I released those.
Well, why do you think that was?
Because
Do you think you missed your audience?
because my audience is high schoolers to middle schoolers, and
No-
they don't want to have
No
their
mom.
parent-
no mom is
exactly.
buying that for Bobby to wear to Troy High School and have
Exactly.
it be turned inside out.
Yeah. So
Okay, so who's your barometer? Does mom or dad see that and say like, no, I'm just going to censor you and tell you that's not a good business idea?
So my dad, when it comes to the business standpoint, my mom, when it comes to like, say, that design,
Right.
just
So I won't be
yeah.
seeing mom watering the grass wearing that sweatshirt the next couple of months.
I mean, you might now because AC is gone
blown
up
up
a little bit.
and
Yeah,
Mom's
a little
out there.
bit. Yeah, exactly. She wants to be what the kids are wearing.
Yeah.
You know? She wants to be involved with the hype. The hype for sure.
All right. Was there something you made that you were shocked that did hit? Like, I can't believe they're buying that.
I feel like everything I make that people buy and it sells out. I feel like that's how I feel, because I still haven't had the realization that people are actually buying your stuff and they like it. So if I've had drops that have completely sold out, and I'm just astounded how people would actually support that and all that
Do you
stuff.
kick yourself in the ass and go, God, I should have gotten, instead of 200 units, 1,000 units?
Oh, all the time.
But you're doing the math game. You can't afford the 1,000 units.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I can only keep it at 2.
Yeah, like say it sold out and I had 50 of that item, but what if I made 100 and only those 50 still bought it? You
Right.
know?
Now
So,
you're stuck with 50.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. You're kind of like, well, I sold 50.
And that's the hard part with what I do. So with Pythia, a majority of the drops we do made to order. So say we get 2,000 orders, we make 2,000 of that, you know.
Okay.
With mine, I make, say, 100 of something, and then I release it. 75 people could buy it. I'm stuck with 25. But now what I'm doing is I have these connections through Pythia that I've made with these other creatives and brand owners who have a more popular brand than me. So whatever I have left, wow, I'm sorry. I'm 18, but still going through puberty.
He's still changing.
Yeah, I'm still changing.
He's going to have to shave after this podcast. He's really growing in front
It's
of me.
coming in right now, yeah. So all of like the remaining stock I have left over, I'm shipping it out, telling them, hey, post this on your Instagram. So then that gives me followers, and the more followers I have, the more buys I have.
Right.
So
And more people to follow, more people to see. It's eyeballs, and it's a guess,
Yeah.
they get it.
yeah,
Is it kind of where you're doing this? You can't always make everything Nick or Billy or Bob likes, but you got to make stuff that Drake likes.
yeah.
But you got to also be aware what Nick, Bobby like as well. Is that hard to kind of make something that satisfies your soul and a would-be customer?
I feel like that's the hardest part of my business, is that I mostly make everything that I would like, but like Nick and Bobby might hate it, you know?
Right.
So I don't have any buyers for that. So that's the hardest part, is just seeing how many people would buy it and who would buy it and if people would buy it at all, you know? So
Yeah, it gets frightening.
yeah, but luckily when it comes to my items now, I've kind of built hype around it, and so people just want to buy something just to be like, I have that item, you know?
Okay.
So that's
Now-
the good part.
Now, you touched on the shoes. How difficult was that venture, making something on a shoe?
It was difficult in the aspect that I had to find a factory who would make the amount I wanted, because
Okay.
it wasn't a lot, because I didn't know who was going to buy it.
Yeah. Sizes.
exactly.
So, I mean, God, talk about it. What were you thinking, like size-wise? Do I go to sizes just for adults, men, women?
Yeah. So luckily with Instagram, you could have people put like their input on something. So I put like a little sticker up and be like, what size shoe are you? They could type in size 11 or something. So I based off of that, how many people would buy it, you know? That's what I looked at, is just what people put, what were like the majority sizes that people wear.
What was the average?
I would say probably like a 10 to a 9.
Okay.
Is what the majority of people wear. And got that made. And
now, do you put as much thought into this as you're thinking like, I got to worry about people who have high arches or people with, you know, all the details that go into a shoe? I mean, Nike's made it a science, for God's sake.
Not with that shoe, but when it came to, I made a hiking shoe.
Okay.
That was difficult in that aspect of like, are these really going to be comfortable when you're stepping on pebbles and sharp rocks? And
right. For hours.
Will those sharp rocks puncture anything in that shoe? And will it have enough grip if you're going downhill? So I looked at that aspect, but for my
How
first
was
shoe,
that development?
It was hard. I was because I was still early in like the shoe game. Now after that process, I feel like I could make any type of shoe I want. But with that one, it was hard because I looked at it like, if I'm hiking and there's like a stream, I want to make this shoe waterproof or water resistant.
Right. So are you thinking like Gore-Tex or enclosed laces? I mean, there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, it is a science. It's pretty crazy.
Jesus.
So I had to look at all those aspects.
Is there one piece of clothing you wish you could, like tomorrow, you would like to make?
A fleece jacket. So like jacket with kind of like wool on the outside and have a design on that. And also maybe, I'm trying to think. I would say just, that item, like really high quality jackets that I would want made would be what my main focus.
Right.
That. The only problem is that when it comes to, I could make it, but when it comes to looking for factories, they want you to order like 1,000. It's called a minimum order quantity.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what really holds me back from pursuing everything that I want to do, is minimum order quantities.
Right. Is it if it's 1,000 and you're like, oh, that's $8,000.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of output for my little company.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to sell 1,000. I might only sell 300 and then I'm stuck.
Yeah. So that's where I want to.
What a scary thing.
Very scary, because I have so many ideas that I can't put into play because of that. And I could maybe get this like a Dickies jacket that is already $30 to start off with and print on that, but who's gonna pay $60 for a Dickies jacket with like just ink on it, you know?
Right.
I'd rather go and get that Dickies jacket where it's $30 already.
Is there like a game plan, aggravated culture, where you're thinking, I'm going to go 4 or 5 years, or am I going to change at some point to your name? Or like, where's your, I don't want to say long-term, like 25, but 24 months.
So I feel like aggravated culture could possibly just be the start for me. I want to get into high-end fashion.
Okay.
So possibly say aggravated culture blows up and then just eventually starts dying down probably 5 years from now or something like that. Or you could even take 10 to 15 years. I'll do whatever it takes to get my brand out there. But also, if it starts dying down, I want to venture into maybe making a new brand that revolves around high-end material and fashion.
Right, because I was going to say that the name is aggressive.
Very.
So it can hold you back in going into a certain line or clothing or material because just of the name. Even if you abbreviate to AC, like, then people are going to think, like, is it for cold apparel? Like, it's kind of a weird abbreviation.
Yeah.
So is that, like, your thought going forward as a business person?
Yeah.
To watch what I'm calling things?
Really, I just have to focus on teenagers, even if I'm 25 still with AC. That's my main focus because that's what the name is based around, is a culture. The way that I came up with it is like it's a culture of teenagers or young adults that feel like they aren't recognized for all the stuff that they do, and we're just aggravated about it.
Right.
So
It's always the biggest challenge. I think that might have been with like Stussy, where it started to die off, is the people that were running it were getting farther away from the understanding of who their audience was.
yeah,
So you get to be 25 and you're like, how do I really know what a 12-year-old is today? Because when I was 12, it was a lot. Now it's like very different.
Yeah.
So that's always the challenge of the business, is to know your core.
yeah, yeah.
Does that worry you that at some point you're going to be 25 and looked at as the old guy to a 12-year-old?
Yeah, that definitely worries me. And that's where I want to get into maybe creating another like
brand,
a lifestyle type of brand that if you're 15 or 30, you could wear that, you know?
Right.
So
the jacket will work, the socks, the underwear, the shoe, whatever.
and like there'll be
Because like Levi's is like that.
Yeah.
Levi jeans can fit you from 5 to 95.
yeah,
Nobody says like, oh, it just doesn't work for me.
exactly.
It's a 501.
Yeah. And I mostly want to get into maybe hiking gear. I love hiking.
The outdoors.
Outdoors, yeah. So maybe
I
some
would love
sort
to
of-
work for Fessel, like that brand out there. Like I watch their stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful clothes, beautiful demonstration of displaying their images. Oh God.
Yeah. You should check out Goodwin San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that brand.
Yeah. You know who's doing a really good job? Excuse me. Is Boot Barn. Have you looked at them? So obviously boots, but they do women's fashion and stuff. But they are all in on they get it, right? It's not like I thought it was always funny. One time I saw like Quicksilver, some kid was wearing it in Kansas, and I'm like, you're buying it because it was at the Target or at the Walmart,
exactly.
but like you have no idea what the Pacific Ocean really is like. And,
Yeah.
and it's like they are not like trying to sell to the west side of LA. They understand like their New Mexico, their Arizona, and their imagery and their display and what they're building. It's beautiful. Like they do such a great job. There's always horses and big sky in southern Utah, and they do a great job for a brand that's right here in Irvine.
Yeah.
That's crazy that
Yeah.
that a brand can pull that off, make you feel like you're in northern Arizona.
Yeah. So I definitely want to get into that aspect of it. Just garments that you could use every day in extreme to non-extreme weather. And when it comes to Arc'teryx right now, they are a great quality hiking brand, but now it's gone into streetwear where it's everyone's wearing Arc'teryx, even if you're not going hiking and stuff.
Right.
You're at school, you're wearing an Arc'teryx jacket because a celebrity wore it, and now all the kids are wearing it.
Isn't that funny? Like, oh, I'm going to wear Patagonia because I saw George Clooney wear it. It's like,
Yeah,
George Clooney was in West LA. It was 63 degrees. That's not cold.
exactly.
Yeah, but you see the influence of one person, whether it's a Jenner or a Kanye West, whoever. People just flock to it because they think that person's interesting and they immediately fit to that apparel.
Yeah, and that's where I applaud Virgil Abloh. He recently passed, sadly. I looked up to him because he was just a great fashion designer. He had his own brand, Off-White, and he was the main guy for menswear of Louis Vuitton. So it was him that kind of started the Arc'teryx wave. He wore an Arc'teryx jacket in Paris because it was probably 30 degrees over there. And now you have kids in Southern California rocking it in 70-degree weather, you know?
In Riverside.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's, just hot and humid and dry.
But I'm cool. I look great.
But I'm looking nice and lavish.
Is where do you want to, and I'm just going to throw this out. We can leave it here. Where do you want to be in 10 years?
I want to be.
You'll be 18 now, 28 then. Right?
Are you asking like in just
Business-wise.
business
Yep.
wise?
Business. Do you still want to be touching this? Where do you want to be?
I still want to be touching fashion, but I also want to be into maybe real estate.
Okay.
And when it comes to the fashion standpoint, I want to have another lifestyle brand, and possibly still be working with AC as well. I like doing different things at the same time. I like putting my foot into this water while I have it in this water, So I like to keep myself busy, and I would like to maybe have AC still be a thing, but also work on my hiking lifestyle brand type of thing. And also, I'm selling a property over here in Newport or something like that.
Okay.
So that's what AC is helping with. Is it's not only my self-interest, but I'm also getting money to maybe venture off into real estate,
Right,
or all that stuff. And it gives me a background of how business works. It's just a learning process for me right now. And it's gone very well so far.
are you going to take more business classes in college?
Yeah, so I'm going to FJC. I'm getting 2 years free there, and then
Right.
hopefully transfer. But I'm getting my AA in business management and marketing.
That's the best thing.
Yeah, so
You can do anything.
yeah,
Yeah, know business and you know your career path.
yeah,
It's fantastic.
yeah. And before we end this, I want to shout out a few people. If that's
Shout them
that's
out.
fine.
But I want to know this.
Uh-huh.
Any pop-ups soon?
So I just had one New Year's Eve.
Okay, how did it go?
It did okay. Not as
Downtown?
well. I had it at my house actually.
Oh.
I marketed it as a garage sale.
Okay.
Pop up. Yeah. The first pop up I did downtown in the storefront, that was my best one because people looked at it as legit. It was in a storefront.
Sure.
And that's also what sucks and kind of brought the story of like aggravated culture is that it has to look, people think it has to look professional to be good.
Right.
But I'm making better quality garments at the one that I did in front of my house than the one that I did at a storefront.
Right.
And not as many people were there and supported in a way, you know?
Do you think maybe that had to do with it was because it was New Year's Eve or it was cold or maybe just not enough eyeballs saw that it was happening?
Oh, yeah, most definitely because it was New Year's Eve. There's people out of town, but also the people that were in town who usually buy from me, they probably just didn't think of it seriously.
Right.
And,
It's a tough day.
Yeah, very tough day. And I wish I could have went back and changed the date maybe.
Okay.
But I try to do my business in my life with no regrets. So it could have just been something else that could have happened. And I mean, it went well for me, but not as good as I wanted it to be or not as good as the first one was.
Right.
And yeah.
Where do they find your stuff online?
You can find my stuff at aggravatedculture.com.
Do you operate the website?
I operate everything.
My Lord, you got your fingers in everything.
I operate the website, factory communications, printing. I don't think people know that I print my own garments. I think they think that
It's outsourced,
I get it made
right?
somewhere. Yeah. But I do everything myself. Design, printing, everything. I'm working on aggravated culture whenever I'm awake, you know?
Right.
I'm always thinking of things I could do and things I could pursue, you know?
Is same thing with the Instagram?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's aggravated culture, just find it?
aggravated culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a hashtag? You got a special hashtag? Like
not
the,
yet.
the best aggravated culture ever?
I don't have a hashtag, but
Okay.
if you have a t-shirt or any garment that you want to post on Instagram, always post that or always repost my posts because that is what helps me grow
Sure.
through Instagram. So if you want to post a sick outfit that you have with a AC t-shirt or garment, just tag us. I'll repost you. You may get a few followers from that. You
There
may
you
get some
go.
looks if you're.
You still have that Trump t-shirt?
Oh, that was okay. Yeah, going back to Savage 7, I still have a few of those in my closet.
Oh, that's a gem.
That was crazy. Yeah, it was if you guys don't know, it's a photo of Trump, and on the bottom it says, as if you were like voting Republican, Democrat, and on the bottom it said Savage, and that was checked out. So
Okay, so how did that go for you? Was there backlash or like people took it as like it's just a joke?
people took it like it was just a joke. We were in like 7th grade, so
Right.
people didn't look at politics that way, and it was definitely different back in 2016 than it is in 2022. You know, and I'm glad I released that T-shirt.
Yes.
That was
That's how it's just having fun.
exactly.
We're not curing cancer, you're just making t-shirts.
Exactly. That's what it is. That is what it is.
That's a good one to have though.
That's a gem. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people still have Savage 7 t-shirts.
I bet.
Yeah. And you guys should save that because it may be worth a pretty penny in the future.
Yeah, frame that bad boy. Keep it out of the sunlight.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who do you want to shout out to?
So first I want to shout out my family, especially my dad. He really helped me with aggravated culture and develop it. Thank you, Nick Harris, Dad. Thank you, Paige, for being the second mind of aggravated culture. telling me if I should do this design, do this garment, anything. Just giving me straight criticism if you don't think people would buy it, because criticism is the best part of having a company. Is
whether she's a girlfriend or not, you just want an honest opinion.
Exactly. Shouts out my mom, my stepdad, Brooklyn. They really just keep me going in this process. Huge shouts out to Jack from Pythia. He has helped me so much, and I'm now working for his brand that I look up to dearly. And I want to.
You get a lot of knowledge. Are you learning stuff?
I'm learning so much. And there's a pop-up we had in July out in LA in Melrose, that's the street you want to be on if you're in clothing.
Unless they're rioting and tearing it down.
Yeah, exactly. That was yeah, they were still rebuilding when we had the pop-up.
I know. It's crazy how like over a year and a half and that there's still places burned out or done or never coming back.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Isn't that scary? Like, as a small business owner, you could be sitting there on TV watching your whole life just be torn apart.
Yeah, and that's why right now, like, I want to venture into a storefront possibly, but right now I'm just all online, and that's how Pythia is as well. That's why I have as many pop-ups as I can, because it has people there in person really feeling what they're buying, you know, and seeing if they want to buy it or not. So, yeah, through that pop-up, I made so many connections with people that I looked up to.
That's great.
So I want to thank Jack. I can't thank you enough for having me on the team. And I can't wait to see what we do this year with Pythia, because I do factory communications.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what's your day-to-day?
Day-to-day, if he wants something made, so say for the Valentine's Day drop, we have hats, just different. I don't know if I probably shouldn't be saying what is being made.
He's making some stuff.
Yeah, he's making some great stuff that you guys need to buy.
Again, we're not curing cancer. We know he's making shirts, hats.
Hats, keychains, yes. No, so if he wants something made, I go find a factory and get it made for him. Okay. And then responding to a lot of emails. Yeah. And shouts out Matt, too. He's the other intern for Pythia. Great guy. He's coming up with a brand, Escape the Fallacy is what it's going to be called. And you guys should just be on the lookout for that, because it's going to be on the come up.
What advice would you have to someone 12, boy or girl, that wants to do what you're doing now?
It sounds super cliche because everyone says it, but if you have an idea, do anything you can to pursue it, because you could do it. And like, you just got to put your mind to that idea or dream that you want, and you got to make sure you do everything you can to make it become a reality, and just disregard what other people say, whether it's criticism or, well, actually take in criticism and also take in what.
Yeah, don't take it personal.
Yeah, but just don't take it personal, and just do what you can to fulfill what you want.
Right. I think one of the most dangerous words in the English language or sentence or phrase is, I'll do it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Don't ever think about tomorrow. Do it now.
And that's what I do is I come up with something. If I have my laptop right there, I pull it out, no matter if I'm just watching a TV show, having a conversation. Right. If that conversation's over, I'll pull out my laptop and start designing. Get on Illustrator and just bang it out. Exactly. Yeah, it's got to be now. Never, I'll get to it tomorrow. In the moment, strike with that hot iron and get to it. 100%. Yeah, tomorrow, there's no guarantee there's tomorrow, and tomorrow's never now. Yes. Just bang it out. Exactly. And final shout out, Nick from Holiday, my top brand that I look up to. I met him at a dinner last week, and he had the time to sit down, have a conversation with me, and hopefully I could send him some stuff, and hopefully he wears it. And what good advice did he give you? He gave me advice that, like, yeah, don't listen to what anyone has to say and don't take it personally. Do and design what you want. People like it, people will dislike it, but just do what you want to do and your heart feels that you want to do. So, right. Yeah, and he's a high level fashion dude, and he's actually dating a musician called Kevin Abstract, which he's well known. He's a C-list celebrity, B-list celebrity around there. So the fact that he took the time to sit down and talk to me I was starstruck, and I was trying to keep composure when I was talking to him during the conversation. I was trying not to like jump all around and be like, "Oh my gosh, I just met him."
And you got to remember what he's saying too.
Yeah,
you're gonna be staring at him, going, "I have no idea what you're saying because I'm just amazed you're here."
Yeah, exactly. After he left or we left, I was just crazy. I was jumping. I was
What advice did he give you? I have no idea. I just saw his lips moving.
Yeah, I was just looking at his outfit and just admiring just his presence there.
I can't believe he was wearing that outfit.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, let's lock the door up with this. What is your favorite outfit?
My favorite outfit from my brand or just me in general?
In general, you get to put together an outfit and you got to wear it tomorrow. What are you wearing?
Ooh, okay. So I'm really liking the color black right now.
Okay.
So I have this nice quilted jacket from a collaboration between these two brands, Fugazi and Absent.
Okay.
I'll put the price tags out there for these garments. So that was $200.
Okay.
I spent a pretty penny on my clothes because I don't have to pay for any housing or all that stuff right now. And then under that, I'll wear a black Psych World t-shirt. It says Psych World in purple. I love purple. Purple and black is great. Pants, maybe not too much black going on. Maybe I'll go with these camo pants that I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
And then those are from Amazon, probably $20. Okay. And then
I was gonna say, are they Army surplus special in Fullerton or something? Or
exactly. Yeah, these are very. You could use these in a war. And then my Aggravated Culture Wounded Ones.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you ever think hats will come back like the way they were in like the 20s, 30s, 40s when men were wearing fedoras and? Isn't that funny how like that just went away?
Yeah, that is. I never looked at.
You think about that, like if you look at those photos.
Every man was wearing a hat.
And every man had a fedora. Every man had some kind of hat. And most women wore hats.
Yeah.
And then, poof.
See, I used to wear hats a bunch, but I kind of limit myself because I don't want to go bald.
Okay. Well, you think hat wearing leads to baldness?
I don't know.
Or is that old wise tale?
It could be a wise tale, but I take it personally.
Because I would say, because everybody from the 20s and 30s would be bald.
Yeah. that is a great way. Maybe that's... Yeah. Maybe that's
maybe that was the anti-hat wear that came up with that and said if you wear too many hats, you'll go bald.
Yeah, maybe it's just genetics.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're supposed to look at your mother's father. That's where you get your hair.
I'm going bald then. I'm going bald.
Live it up.
Yeah, that's why I'm not cutting this flow right now.
That's why the locks are flowing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've always thought about that. Like, as much as I love fashion, you look back at certain things and go, where did all the hats go?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, everybody just stopped wearing hats.
Yeah, and that's like when I was in elementary school, Nike had these socks, like neon bright socks called Nike Elites. Mm-hmm. Nobody wears them now, but back then, every dude had them.
You had to, right?
Yeah.
Mandatory.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you ever look at like the Kentucky Derby when all the women wear all the hats, those big, beautiful hats? Do you ever see that and go, that would be kind of interesting to design?
Yeah, I like to think out of the box, especially with things. And like, if I like it, I want to do that, and when it comes to me wearing those tight, skinny checker jeans, nobody else would wear that, but I would. And that's how I feel like some people go about. And they really just...
Well, what about this? Okay, I know we keep saying we're almost done, but we're not.
Yeah.
What about this? Have you ever thought about maybe designing like in movies or in TV shows where you're actually putting the clothes together, making the clothes, and doing set designing?
I've looked at kind of maybe on a TV show putting the character's outfit together, but not really like set designing. Or I like videography.
Okay.
Videography is also something I want to get into possibly in the future. Because I have these crazy ideas for maybe commercials for AC or something.
Right.
And you could just, show the world what you have when it comes to, you just got to have a video camera and an outlet to put it out on.
Right.
So
go for it.
Yeah.
All right, young man, this has been awesome.
I enjoyed it.
I can't thank you enough for taking the time. I'm glad I saw you swinging on that hammock and, we got together and do this. I am absolutely proud
Thank you.
And it's very impressive to see somebody, stick with it, because you can come up with an idea and be like, yeah, I'm all in, Dad. And he goes out and he buys you this very expensive tool and it gets dusty.
Yeah.
Or you only use it 2 or 3 times and you're like, can we just put this on OfferUp and sell it?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, this didn't work out. But you're still forging ahead and busting your hump.
And I feel like I'm one of the hardest. Well, I don't like to really
Say
brag about myself,
Say
but I
it.
feel like I'm one of the hardest working kids right now that I know.
Yeah.
Because I'll do anything and everything to get where I want in life,
Oh, yeah. There's way too many people that are soft.
Yeah.
You cannot be soft. If you want to get ahead, you cannot worry about tomorrow and be soft. You have to forge.
Exactly.
You got to put on those camo pants with a machete and forge.
Exactly. Be like Rambo.
You're the man, Drake.
Thank you.
Good to do this. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to my conversation with Drake Harris. Please click the like button if you enjoyed the episode. Always be a subscriber. That helps. And you can find all of our shows on the website, justagoodconversation.com. Thank you for listening.